Hey, welcome back to the Felix Black Show podcast. Today I'm talking about living together before marriage. You don't want to miss this episode. Let's get into it. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to the Felix Black Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, or if you're on YouTube watching the full video. Today, I am talking about living together before marriage. I don't even believe this is a question that someone asked me. Do I believe in cohabitation before marriage? Absolutely. It is not the 1950s. Wake up out there, people, with your relationships. It's not the 1950s. You should be living together before marriage, okay? We are trying to keep these old school values in a new school age. It's called adaptation. It's called changing with the times. There is a different need now than there was before. What that need is open communication, right? We are talking about not stifling how someone feels, how someone lives. Part of communication is learning your partner. What better way to learn someone than to live with them? Now, am I saying you should be living together day one? No. After you've dated for a while and you decide that you want to move to the next level, that should be an option. Men should never, I will repeat, men should never move in with a woman, right? If she does not want to move in with you, then y'all should get a joint apartment, a joint home together. However, ladies, you should be willing to live with a man that is contemplating marriage. You all are contemplating marriage, getting engaged, starting a family together. What is the issue with moving in with him? If you do not trust, if you do not believe in the relationship, say that. Say that before we start talking about marriage, that you don't trust me enough to live with me. We shouldn't even be talking about marriage if you do not trust me enough for that. Okay. So there is no excuse as to why you cannot move in with a man. If you're willing to take his last name, if you're willing to have his children, and you want him to put a ring on it, you should be willing to move into his home. And men, if you cannot welcome a woman into your home, you should be fixing yourself. You have things to work on. You shouldn't even be thinking about marriage at this point. So that is for those who have something against moving in together. What is the reason you don't want to? There is no good reason. So that's a rhetorical question. There is no good reason. If we are talking about marriage, if we are talking about family, you should be willing to move into my home. I should have a home for you to move into, whether that's an apartment or a house. Men, we are the providers, and you should be providing shelter. That is the number one need that we should be providing, is shelter. Okay. We want to do modern things. We want to have modern relationships, whether it's 50-50, whether it's women working, however you choose to run your relationship, you choose to do that. With that said, we cannot be thinking about values from the 1920s, the 1930s. Okay. We have new school relationships and we have new school rules. One of them is moving in together. I want to see how it is when you wake up, how it is when you organize your home, what it is that you do during the day. How do you carry yourself throughout the day? That is very important. We need to spend quality time together. When we're dating and we have separate households, when we come together, the first thing I'm going to do when you're coming over to my house is clean up. I'm going to straighten up because I'm ready to receive a guest. Once you move into my home, You're no longer a guest. You are a resident here. You live here now. So you're going to see those dirty moments of the home, those unorganized moments that you would not see if we are dating, right? There's a level of comfort. We talk about in relationships, people getting comfortable, and that's a bad thing. No, that is a normal progression in a relationship. These are things that have already been happening. However, you have been shielded from seeing these things because we're still in the honeymoon phase, and I still want to make a good impression. Am I saying that a dirty person will now become clean or vice versa? No. If you are a dirty person, it will eventually come out. If you are an organized person, it will eventually come out. And that is why we have the living together arrangements, to see, can we share a space? Okay. I understand that there is something called love. And once you get married, you've dedicated yourself to someone. Absolutely correct. But living together is a whole nother situation. We're now sharing a space, and how you share that space, whether a person is clean, dirty, whether a person is introverted, extroverted, whether a person is generous in their space and time, can only be determined once you live together. Who's going to get the closet? Are we going to split the closet 50-50, right? Who's going to the bathroom? Who's going to have their things on the bathroom counter, in the shower, in the bathtub? How do I want to decorate? Those are important issues because number one, my home, your home should be your peace. That should be where you can escape everything and come home and welcome love, welcome happiness and peace in your life. If I'm coming home to a home that is unclean, that smells bad, that is not decorated the way that I want it to, I'm not happy. I have to go every day to a job to provide for my family. And when I come home, I'm still not happy, right? Something has to give. Either I have to have a good job and I come home to a home that I don't necessarily like, or I have a job that I don't like, but I know that it's paying for the home that I'm going home to. I am an introvert, and there are plenty of introverts out there. So what does that mean? Does that mean we don't like people? Absolutely not. We love people. But once I come home from work, I require 1 hour of transition time, of peaceful time to myself. Now, can I take that time in the car? Yes, but I want to take that time in my home. Okay. Will you be okay with me walking through the door and taking that transition time? Or when I walk through the door, will you be immediately in my face with, we need this, we need that, this is going on, that's going on? Okay. So that is something I have to adjust to. I need to adjust to the fact that when I walk through the door, there's a family on the other end of that door, whether it's children, whether it's a wife. That is a change from being single, right? When I walk through the door at this particular moment, there is nothing on the other side but quiet, right? I'm not walking into a family of rambunctious individuals. That takes time to get adjusting to. If you are dealing with an extrovert, if you are dealing with an introvert, you have to learn how to share that time and space. Conflict resolution, that's another one. Once we have an argument, relationships will have disagreements. If you're thinking your relationship will never have a disagreement, you are not in a real relationship. We are two individuals from two completely different backgrounds. We are going to disagree on topics. That's normal. Let's stop running from conflict and learn how to deal with the conflict in a mature way. So now we're in separate homes. Once I get mad, I leave and I go to my own place where it's what? Quiet, where it's peace. I can think. Once you give up your own place and now you move in with me, you get mad with me, I get mad with you. There is nowhere to go. You're going to go to the next room. I don't believe in leaving the home and driving if you're upset. If we're getting to that point where you must leave the home, we have bigger problems to talk about. And we'll talk about conflict resolution. For now, we're talking about living together. So we have a conflict. We must now share the same space. Whether we're not talking for an hour or two, a day or two, we're still in the same space. How we deal with that conflict and how long that tension lasts is very apparent, and it's very beneficial in the beginning. You do not want to learn this 4, 5, 6 years down the line. You need to be learning this in the beginning before you make that lifetime commitment. We're so quick to want to put on rings and want to say vows and want to have a wedding. We don't have those conversations and go through those situations that make our bond stronger. And that is what it is all about. It's all about building a tight bond beforehand, not during, not after, not feeling like you made a mistake. And living together provides you with that opportunity to go through conflict resolution, to see how each person goes throughout their day. If a person wants their free time, if a person is introverted and is okay being in a different room, but still being at home, or whether a person wants you close to them, whether they're a physical touch, love language type person, and they always want to be near you, want to be up under you. Those are things that people have to learn about each other to see if I'm able to give you the love that you need to be happy, and vice versa, if you can give me the love that I need to be happy. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Cleanliness should be important to everyone. Everyone. Now, there are levels to organization. There is a level called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, to where everything needs to be in a certain spot, and if it's out of that spot, you're now unhappy. I'm not talking about that level, right? But cleanliness is next to godliness, and that means your personal space, the home. You need to see how people are living. You need to see how people are taking care of themselves. Again, once we have a date, once I invite you over, you invite me over to your house, my assumption is you take a shower, you take a bath. Now, we're living together. We're not going on a date. It's normal routine. A relationship is a routine. So now we're at normal Tuesday, a normal Wednesday. You'd be surprised how many people don't shower daily, don't shower every other day, only shower when they quote unquote have to. You need to find out when that have to is. Living with someone removes the mask that we all have, when you start dating someone. You need to bring that mask down for yourself and for them as soon as possible. So then you can fairly start to assess if this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. There is nothing that will drop that mask quicker than living with someone. Everyone is comfortable in their own space. You've created it, whether it's your apartment, whether it's your home, whether it's a room that you rent, you are comfortable there. It's set up the way you want it. And so you drop that mask. You're no longer at work. You're in your personal, private space. And so once we start to occupy that same space as a couple, it now becomes comfort for both of us. Your comfort level is different than my comfort level. I need to see how your comfort level is. So it's important. So this question about should you live together before marriage? Yes, you'd be insane not to do that. You are taking a chance on it being a 180-degree change for you. I'm in a relationship with you for a year. We keep separate households. We decide to get married. We get a place together. Okay. Whose furniture are we going to keep? How are we going to decorate? Do I get a room in the home? Do you get a she shed? Do you get a man cave in that home? How often do you deep clean? How often do you straighten up? What is your idea of straightening up? What is your idea of deep cleaning? When you go to bed at night, do you leave dishes in the sink? Do you use a dishwasher? Are you against using a dishwasher? Do you vacuum? Do you like vacuum? Do you like doing laundry? How often do you do laundry? Do you fold your laundry right after you're done, or do you wait? These are all things that you need to know about someone. And again, you shower. How long? How often? Do you use a cloth? Do you just use a soap? Do you just use water? Do you snore at night? When you wake up in the morning, are you a happy person? Are you a night owl? Do you stay up all night? Do you wake up early? When you wake up early, are you loud? In the bed, do you pull covers? Are you hot at night? Are you cold at night? These may seem like superficial questions, but these are very important to knowing someone. We're very quick to say, oh, you don't know me. If I don't know you, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? I am open to learning you. You have to be willing to share. I'm not going to force information out of you. If you want to be with me, if we're serious in our relationship, I won't have to. You will openly share. You will openly communicate. That is what communication is. Everyone talks about communication like it's this mystery. Communication is just being open and honest with how you decide to live your life, the decisions that you've made, and owning them, being accountable for them. That's all it is. What you like to do and what you don't like to do. So again, living together, I'd get to know your habits. I get to establish my habits. Do I want to throw my socks at the door when I walk in? Do I want to take off my shoes when I walk in? Am I culturally, do I believe that walking in a home with shoes is bad? These things are these things we can deal with when it's 1 day a week, 3 days a week, because we go back to what we are comfortable with. But now when you have to compromise and someone really feels strongly about something as simple as shoes in the home, is that a deal breaker for you? A lot of people are not comfortable walking around in a home without shoes on. What's the process for learning if you're able to compromise and do that? It's called living together. So yes, you should. I recommend, and if you're not, something is completely wrong. You should be living together before marriage. It is something to get to know your partner, and anything that is beneficial to you learning your significant other, I am for. I am never against learning as much as you can about someone. You will never know everything about a person. Never. It's impossible because you don't know what you don't know. But every attempt that you can learn more, you should be trying to achieve that. You should be working for that. And so, yes, living together before marriage is something you should be doing. And if you're not, something is wrong in that relationship. This has been Felix Black for the Felix Black Podcast. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all in the next episode.